Facebook fam. I'm gonna turn the music down. I'm so happy that you all have decided to join us for Entertaining While Black. This evening, we have some wonderful artists, entertainers, just wonderful Black people who are here to chat with us about the life of being a Black performer. So I'm going to have them all jump on. These are people who have been Oddfellows students in the past, some alumni, some friends of mine, some people I've come across in my time there with Oddfellows and in life. And I just cannot wait for us to get into this wonderful chillaxed, kind of cookout style conversation. So everyone, please turn on your cameras, give us a wave, and join me in this wonderful room. Yes. I'm so happy that you all are here. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I would love for us to go around and start with our names. Just give us your name, your age if you feel comfortable sharing that, your profession, your connection with Oddfellows, and where you're calling from. Because I know, in this virtual world, you can actually, do something and be a part of something, and you're like in a whole nother state. So I'm so happy that you all are here. Um, I'll get started, and then we could popcorn around. How about that? Okay, so my name is Jacqueline Brown. I am the program manager at Oddfellows Playhouse. I've been there since September. I've loved it there. It's been so wonderful. Dick has been such a great boss. It's been really great, especially going there during COVID. I am 25 years old. Um, that is my connection to Oddfellows, my profession. I'm also an actress, writer, and director, and I'm calling from New Haven. Yeah, I'm calling from New Haven, Connecticut. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? Let's pass it on. I'm gonna pass the mic. I'm gonna pass the mic to my friend Andre. Yep.
What's up, everybody? I just want to say hello to everybody but Felicia and Tanisha and Dick. I know you guys. I go way back to you guys. And hello to everybody. But yeah, I'm Andre David Wormsley. I grew up in Middletown, and I got my start. I think when my mother was a camp counselor at the circus camp, and then we thought it was like kind of stupid. We went to the first performance, and we were just like, we got to do this forever. And then I did a bunch of plays, and that's where I got my start. Circus camp too, and Dick Wheeler taught me everything, and then I expanded upon it. That's it.
You could pass the mic.
Oh, pass the mic. I'm going to pass the mic to Tanisha, please.
It's like Jeopardy. Tanisha for 100, please. Yes, I'll take that. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm Tanisha Dugan. I am an artistic producer. I am a director. Every now and then someone calls upon me to act, but I don't do that so much anymore, but I do miss it. Whenever I'm in the rehearsal room, I'm always like, oh, or now with COVID, whenever I'm watching remotely sets and I go, oh, I wish I was in the room again. So yeah, I did a show at Oddfellows when I was in high school. And yes, she, her, hers. I turned 39 yesterday. So if you want to give me some birthday love, that's always great. Yes, we'll take it. Grateful to be alive still, right? Like in all that's going on, just to have the grace and the patience to still be going is a beautiful thing. But I'll answer questions more about the specifics around what I do when we get started, I think. I'm gonna pass it to, someone who I have noticed from afar, but actually this is my first time ever being in any kind of room with them. Azaria, Miss Samuels. I'm glad to be at the cookout with you.
Hi everyone. I am Azaria Samuels. I am 28 years old. I'm the audience development and corporate partnership coordinator at Longworth Theater. And I am good friends with Jackie. but also we also worked together over at Long Wharf. She's super amazing. We got to collaborate on some August Wilson stuff. So that's my connection with Jackie. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm in Connecticut. I'm from Miami, Florida, but I'm calling out of Middletown. So, and I will popcorn this over to Anitra.
Hi, Zaria. Is it Azaria?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for passing the mic to me. My name is Anitra Brooks. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I have been a member of the Oddfellows community, well, family really, since 1985. That's right. I'm 45 years old. And I did my first Oddfellows production. It was called Little Red Rankin Hood. It was like the hood version of Little Red Riding Hood. And I was Little Red Rankin Hood. So I'm from Middletown. I grew up in Middletown. I'm zooming in from Coscob, Connecticut. And for those who don't know, Coscob is a part of Greenwich. I didn't know Coscob was a part of Greenwich, so I moved here and I was like, oh, I'm in Greenwich. so I'm a singer-songwriter, actor, and most of my time is spent teaching. I'm a teaching artist. I teach young preschool age children music and movement at the Greenwich Country Day School and Putnam Indian Field School. That's my kind of day job, but I perform whenever this pandemic thing allows me to. So yeah, so you know how long I've been how I'm connected with Oddfellows. Did a ton of teen rep shows, and I think that was all of them. Yeah. I'm going to pass the mic to Felicia.
Thank you, Anitra. Good evening, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here on this Super Sunday. Felicia Goodwin. I am a lifelong resident of the 06457. I got my start with Oddfellows back in 1990 when I was a part of the Children's Circus. So I'm fabulous in 40. So I was a camper. I then became a counselor. And because I was super amazing, Dick was like, go ahead and be head counselor. So I spent a lot of time with Children's Circus, but also was part of the dance troupe that started, and we toured kind of throughout the state and went to schools back when I was in middle school. So I have a love of dance. During my daytime, I'm not doing a lot of stuff with the arts. I am the director of peer services for Beacon Health Options. So I work with behavioral health. So that's where I spend a lot of my daytime. But I also have the amazing pleasure of being a teaching artist at Oddfellows. So I've been teaching hip hop dance for about 7 to 12-year-olds. Of course, it's been virtual now, but I've been a teaching artist since 2019. So I can't get away from Oddfellows. I just can't do it. And I'm also part of the member of the board of directors. So Oddfellows will always, always have a special place in my heart, as I know that's the same for those folks that are on this call today as well. So like I said, pleasure to be here, and I'm going to pass the mic. See some young folks in here with us. Miss Trinity.
Hello, and thank you. I'm Trinity, pronoun she, her. I am a high school student, and I'm 14. I'm just from, Connecticut. And I have been going to Oddfellows since I was 8 years old. And I haven't stopped going since. Absolutely love it there. I'll pass this on to Fleur.
Hi, Trinity. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Fleur. Pronouns are she, her, or they, them, and I am associated with Oddfellows because I did a summer program in '98 called The Nazi Got Trouble, and I helped assist direct that, and it was amazing. Currently, I am not acting, but I do help people out with projects and things like that, and do modeling on the side and a few things here and there. But in reality, I was a server and a personal trainer before COVID shut all that down. So, but still on the outskirts associated with the industry. Yeah, I will pass it to, let's see, who's left? Derek? Did Derek go in the car? Oh, can we hear Derek? Oh, your mic is off, I believe. Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay. Hey, okay. How's everyone doing?
Eric!
Hey, how's it going? Hey, man, it's my story for Oddfellows, man. I mean, they saved my life in so many ways, in a couple different ways. I mean, it starts from I actually was just working for Betsy. She was paying me $8 every Friday to clean Oddfellows. I had to be maybe 9 years old. I probably hadn't started it yet, but I remember I would just clean Oddfellows. I'd go in there, clean her office, clean around her and Jackie, clean, everything. And then I don't know. Eventually, it happened to where I was just in a play. And like Anitra said, I remember Red ranking this. I can remember seeing Anitra running by me. I remember. So, and I'm 45, so I go back to then. You know what I'm saying? Back to, and I think I did my last play maybe in like the 10th grade. And so I eventually moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm at now. And like these last 4 years, I just got back into the background acting, and it's just been the most wonderful experience. And so many times when I'm on set, I just think about Oddfellows and think about the times when me and my friends used to just walk, to Oddfellows. And when I'm on set, I think about so much. Like when I see him do a lot of the improv, and he brings me back to like Oddfellows, and we used to do like a lot of improv showcases and things like that. And it just feels good, man. Like I just inboxed Betsy maybe a couple weeks ago because I actually just published my first children's book, and all that is like it branches from that, being because I was a junior counselor too at one time for Oddfellows. I did summer camp. I mean, Dick taught me how to juggle fire. I'll never forget that. It's just so much, and Betsy helped out in so many ways just in my personal life besides Oddfellows, which why, they'll always have a place in my heart, and like my final destination for all this right now, like I'm currently writing my own movie and working on the soundtrack. I'm really big Ice Cube fan. I love the fact that he can write a kid's movie, have his own independent label for music. He can write a dramatic movie. And I just love all that. So I'm truly inspired by that. And that's what I try to chase with what I'm doing. So it's like when I go to set, it's like I try to pick up everything I can learn from the camera angles to the way they're doing everything, just to work on mine. Because there's a lot of people that don't really like background from my experience of doing it for 3 or 4 years. I mean, I'm not going to say a lot, but there's people that don't really like it because they feel like it's the bottom work. But I look at it as the building work, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? I actually just did Coming to America too, and I was background. I was getting paid $10 an hour, but I always look at it, it's the opportunity inside the opportunity. Like I was actually maybe like 5 feet away from Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes, and just to watch them shoot their scene 20 times over was just, I had to pinch myself while I was standing there, because it's just like I couldn't believe it, and just to see their whole acting, like. The thing about Wesley Snipes is he stays in character when the camera goes off, and that really bugged me out. I was like, oh yeah, he's acting. I mean, like, everyone's character dropped, but to see him in his work, it just really was so inspiring, and like I said, it all just goes back to Oddfellows. I moved to Georgia to chase the dream because I was into music too. I was always into music. I mean, the play that we did, School, in Oddfellows, I remember Dick actually let me write my own rap. And there's another play where I was like a breakdancing garbage can, I can remember. So I always had both of them going. And so right now, that's where it's at now. And my plan is now for the end of 21 to have my movie finished, to have the soundtrack done. And I would just love to be able to go to Oddfellows and hold the auditions. You know what I'm saying? And really, and the plan is to shoot half in Connecticut and half in Georgia. It's like a biopic of my life, but just just giving back everything I've learned, and showing my appreciation for that, everything that was given to me, as far as like Oddfellows and where it took me in my life. Other than that, I'm just down here trying to make it happen. As far as work, I have my own gutter cleaning business. That's the real life thing, until the background takes off. But other than that, I'm a licensed insurer with gutter cleaning and painting. I do a lot of gutter cleaning throughout Atlanta and painting, things like that. So until it happens, until I don't have to do it no more. So I'll pass it to the microphone to Dick Wheeler. Oh, Dick's not. Oh, yeah.
I'm not really here.
Man himself.
But I'm hearing my name get thrown around. It's just so awesome to see so many familiar faces from like the last 35 years of my life. Wow. And you know that I don't need to say anything. I'm just gonna, who have not we heard from yet?
We haven't
Diamond.
heard Nair or Diamond yet.
Diamond, what can you tell us?
Hi guys, that's a tough follow-up after Derek. I'm sorry, I'm still working on life. So, but I am Diamond. I'm 28. I am also a Middletown resident. I've been here just about all my life. I started off also with Oddfellows at a young age in circus camp, and then becoming a counselor and then a head counselor. I also know Dick and his wife very closely and their children very closely. We went to school together, and I remember Dick's wife coming in and doing Shakespeare with us when we were in middle school, and I just fell in love with theater after that and with their whole entire family. So yes, and I also am a teaching artist. I've been teaching artist with Oddfellows for me. I think this is maybe year 2 or 3, but I love it. And I love Oddfellows, and they've been a huge impact in my life as well.
Her mic went out really quick, but Nair, you were passed. Yep.
Hello, my name is Nair Taylor. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm blanking, sorry. I've been with Oddfellows since I was 8, was my first play, and then I came back for a couple years and I left and I did a couple middle school plays, but I'm 16 and I'm calling from my basement, Middletown, but it's my basement. It's the same thing. My profession, I do co-host with Free Speech Center. Well, no, Free Center, and the program me and my coworker will co-host run is called Free Speech. I'm a musician, actor, poet, and yeah, that'll be it. I don't have any cool stories or anything, but yeah.
I'm sure you got some cool stories. It's all right. All right. I think everyone has been introduced. Once again, thank you all so much for joining me at my cookout, my virtual cookout. All right, so we're gonna get into some questions. All right, so feel free to answer as many questions or as little questions as you feel comfortable with answering. So I know from the introductions, a lot of you may have like stepped a foot into acting or stepped a foot into performing, and now you're doing other things. But definitely to me, I feel like a part of every job is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you show up as yourself in all spaces, but there is a point where, you know, you have to show up as a specific person to get the job done. And so definitely relate these questions to your life. Okay. So the first question is, what got you interested in your chosen profession? Whether that is, you know, the job you're playing, whether it's the acting, whether it's entertainment, whatever it is. So I'm gonna put 2 questions in here. What got you interested in your chosen profession? And where do you find your inspiration? And we can, anyone can jump in on that question. I'm also gonna drop it in the chat so we can remember those 2.
I'll swipe it. So the thing that got me interested in my, I wouldn't say really profession, but my craft really, because I started playing guitar like 4 years ago. And every time I look for a guitarist, it was always white guitarist, rock, all spiky hair and stuff like that. Then I saw Jimi Hendrix and I seen him upstage a white man and they called him the best guitarist on the planet. I'm like, this is amazing. I got to do this. So I picked up my guitar, started playing, and I realized I got a knack for it. And that's how I started playing my guitar. And the acting, it was just natural, you know, I'm not here, so everything.
Okay,
It was watching 2000s comedies and making people laugh and feel good and having that emotional moment and crying moment and serious moment. I was like, I can do that. So I tried it. I did good at it. And I just kept doing it. And for poetry, honestly, it was just me trying to figure out how to tell people how I'm feeling without targeting them. And so then I realized I'm really good at being cryptic. And then my poems came out of that.
That's what's up. I love that. I love that about poetry, telling people how you feel without attacking them. Like, whoa, that's a poem right there. Okay. All right. I'll hop in if no one else wants to hop in really quick. So what got me into my chosen profession? My mom took me to see Annie, I believe, when I was younger. I can't remember how old I was, but I loved it. I was like, oh, I gotta do what she does. Like, I gotta get up there. I'm trying to be like Annie. And ever since then, I was just like trying to do more, trying to do more. And I did drama in fifth grade, and I auditioned for, well, actually, this was fifth grade, so it was a school play. You know, everybody in the class was in the cast. And I had a really close friend of mine who was like, oh, we did Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and she was like, I'm gonna be Goldilocks. I'm like, all right, girl, go ahead, do it. And then when I got Goldilocks, she was so upset. But I was so hyped. I had a little red bow. I was excited to be Goldilocks in that. And ever since then, it's just been like, I love the stage. I love being there. I love the feeling of saying something and just hearing a pin drop in the audience, or like really like really feeling that energy in the room. You know, it's been a lot. I'm sure you all understand it's been different now in Zoom world and not being able to like have that community around you, but it was really that feeling in that theater that just continues to push you to get on the stage every time and like get that character and learn that character and say, okay, I didn't see that before. And even when you're in performing, you find more things about this character that you've been rehearsing for months. And it's like, whoa, I didn't even, okay, I'm hearing them now. So the process is really what made me choose it. And that's consistently my inspiration to keep going. I saw Anitra unmic herself at a point, so I think I might be passing it to her.
Thank you, Jackie. I had unmuted at that moment because Nair was talking about, I forgot now. You said something and I jumped on. I think it had to do with poetry. I started writing songs when I was about 14 and didn't really become an actual singer-songwriter um until yeah, like kind of recently, like in the past decade or so. But I started acting at Oddfellows, and it was just it, it was just it. I was like, oh, this is what I'm gonna be. There was no question. And then there were so many just awesome plays, and me and Derek, we were in Midsummer Night's Dream together. We were the three of us were all we were Puck, and it was like a Puck trio triptych kind of thing. And so it was me, Derek, and another girl named Carol, and we had so much fun. Wasn't that fun? It was so much fun. That was 1989, my friends. And so then the biggest show I did with Oddfellows was my senior year of high school. I was Hamlet, and Dick and I spent a lot of time. And like you were saying, Jackie, the process, it was hard work. And first of all, that text. So I was actually Hamlet. And so that is what I loved. It is the continuous process. I studied theater at Brown, went on to New York City to continue acting, picked up commercial work just haphazardly. But then, of course, I realized that, oh, this can pay my bills. Okay, so we'll keep doing commercial work along with theater. But the feeling of just being on stage is always rattling for me. I'm always nervous. And then when you're done, that's when it's good. When you're in it, you're like, you're in it, you're in it, you're in it. Okay, I'm in it, I'm in it. But then when you're done, you're like, I want to do it again and again and again. So it all started with Oddfellows. If I hadn't been chosen to play Red Rankin Hood or whatever, if Oddfellows wasn't there, I really cannot tell you who I would have been. I have no idea, absolutely no idea who I would have become. So and I draw inspiration from death and birth. And mostly things I write about are because of someone's death or a birth. So just throwing that out there. Boom.
I guess I'll go. I was just really relating with you guys when you were saying the whole process and just being on the stage. I the first thing I would want to say what got me into it is going back when I was in high school and we were in choir and they took us to go see Hairspray. And that was it for me. I'm talking about like this the whole time, like, oh my God, like this is it. Like I'm supposed to be here. And I knew that I wanted to do that. So I knew originally I wanted to do musical theater, but then that didn't work out. So I ended up studying theater at Drew University in Madison, New Jersey. And just being there was just a whole experience. And there weren't many of us there, African Americans there. And so they did up there, I had an African American professor who passed, and he did A Raisin in the Sun. And that was like my first debut in theater. I want to say I was going into like my junior year. So I had been auditioning for these plays and it wasn't it. And so he was like, I'm giving you a chance. This is it. And that part just needed with me and being on the stage. I knew that that was where I needed to be and where I wanted to be. And so I was wholeheartedly with acting. I was like, I'm going to be an actor. This is what I want to do. I want to be on Broadway. And then it didn't end up working that way. I ended up working with students that collaborated with my college. And it was a high school. And they were basically in a boys and girls club in Newark. And I collaborated with them. And then that's when I knew that maybe acting is a thing for me, but also teaching and collaborating with youth and urban teenagers was a thing for me. So that is my inspiration. Children, other people, everyday life, my child is my inspiration. So.
I'm going to hop in because sort of all of the stories that are being told totally align with my journey as well, right? So I saw Serafina at Goodspeed as a part of my school brought me there, which I don't even know if that happens anymore. I don't know if schools bring classes to go see plays at Goodspeed. I know where I work at TheaterWorks, we've got to sort of bring all of the pieces together to get kids and educators to join, right? We got to make sure the buses are there, and we've got to sort of do a lot of the background work to make that stuff happen. And I suspect that it was a little bit easier when I was a kid. And so seeing Serafina, seeing this entirely Black cast, seeing this musical, that was sort of the thing that made me go, oh my God, this is something for me. And so all through elementary school, middle school, high school, I did plays. I was a dancer, right? My mom put me in dance when I was 3. So that kind of seeded in me a performative kind of life. I went to undergrad at SUNY Purchase, and very much like all of you, came out of school and was like, okay, we're going to do this thing. But I always tell people at that point, there was no Obamacare, right? So I came out of school during a really fraught family emergency, and the choice to sort of like, how do I take care of myself so that I can help support my family became a really crucial life experience, right? And so I worked in corporate America and marketing for a very long time. And I say that because it was almost 10 years. And at that point, you know, that was most of my 20s, right? My formative years. But I always, my spirit of artistry, my spirit of wanting to be, to tell stories never left me. And so I came back around that 10-year moment and went back into acting sort of as like a primary job. And then I shifted into admin, right? And that was as much because of the journey up to then had been on a business side, and so I felt really comfortable there. But also I recognized there weren't a lot of me's, and doing it the way that I do it, right? I am a producer. I don't work in community and engagement. That's actually on purpose at this point, right? Because a lot of times Black women have been asked to do that work within the theater profession, right? And so it was really important to me that while engaging with community is like essential, right? I'm a Black woman, my existence is political, right? There's nothing that I do that doesn't have that inside of it. I wanted to make sure that I was asking communities that don't tend to engage with us, but do engage with theater to do the work of telling stories for us. And so that's my inspiration, right? Is us, is blackety black folks, and making sure that all of the abundance that we've offered to the country and to this profession that I love and to storytelling becomes not just integrated, but supreme, that we sort of become recognized as cultural arbiters. And we're in an interesting time where it's good to be Black. It's always good to be Black. But we are very much being asked to step forward. But we're being asked to step forward and then maybe be the only ones around. So there's a lot that we've got to do to make sure that we're bringing all the folks with us, right? That I call them the rest of the army, right? That we're like filling up the ranks with folks like us that look like us, so that the idea of perfectionism and excellence and being the best Black whatever you are to ever exist in a space is still true, because we are the most dope things that creation has given us, but it is not a requirement to be in space, right? That you can make a mistake, that you can not be great, that you can just be you and be in a space. And so that's sort of a lot of what I'm doing right now, is like, all right, bring some Black people in here. So I'm really grateful actually to meet all of you young people, because as I think about how to add more folks around me, seeing y'all is amazing. And it's really nice to see some peers, because I think so much of what we do tends to be like, let's find the youngest person who needs to be taught how to do something and bring them in the space. And sometimes it's almost as valuable, if not more, to bring people who challenge you, who press you, who are your peer, and not being fearful that you're the only one in there and they're gonna take that only one spot, but recognizing that you together can move mountains.
Can I just say, Tanisha, thank you completely.
Thank you.
Unapologetically you. Thank you. Diamond said it in the comments. I will just say that, oh my goodness, you just took a lot of words out of my mouth. Like, it's, for me, it really started with storytelling too. Like I would say, like, I went to Florida A&M University, and seeing so many of my peers on stage and so many folks trying to, bring folks back to the theater, it's always been like a challenge, but I've always thought it's been my mission to make sure that we're telling the stories, and that these stories that we're telling is true to us. And so, like, even at Long Wharf, I come here from Miami, I come here to Long Wharf Theater, and I see where there was so many of us not there. And I'm like, why is that? We have stories. It comes from our backgrounds. It comes from us. We have some true stories. And it was mind blowing to me. But if you don't know, I've started this thing called Strength Within Me. And I'm making sure that I am amplifying women's voices in our community and bringing them back to this theater, and that we are heard, that our stories are told. And I think that is so important. And hearing this, it just brings back so many thoughts in my head as to why I do this and what brings this out of me. And I would say that strength, but my family, God. I would say that my peers, Jackie, having folks around that want to make a change and want to actually do something in the next generation's life, I think is so important. And so for me, that's where my inspiration comes from. But Tanisha, you just hit it all on the head for me.
I'm gonna jump in. Just hearing all of this it's so empowering. Like, y'all just making this Sunday even more spectacular. But I have to say, my interest and passion has always been helping people. So that's probably why I spent 13, almost 14 years in the Middletown public school systems, especially at the middle school at Woodrow Wilson, which will now be Beeman Middle School, and also at Middletown High School, just being around people and knowing I could make a difference in some way. But I wasn't big on acting, and Dick will tell you, I was circus camp. I'd be like, okay, can this one go by so I can go and dance with Avis? So that was just where I was. It was just my thing. I was shy and I was quiet. But once I could take class with Avis, I was just bigger than life. And I remember when Avis started the dance troupe, that's what she always told me. Your movement is your voice. Dance big, dance big. And that's what I always did. So having that opportunity to dance, and I'll never forget, I had the first opportunity to choreograph something at the Children's Circus, and we danced at CNC Music Factory. My little 8-year-olds in the purple troupe turned it out. Like, you can tell us anything. I know my act was probably the longest one, but Dick was just like, go with it. But it was an amazing experience that I could put something together. And these kids learned it and they loved it. And I think that's kind of what brought me back to be able to be a teaching artist and teach these young folks and let them know, like, a lot of them are very shy, just like I was, but that ability to move across the floor and to dance and to just be in that space is something amazing that no one can take away from you. So my biggest thing is to be able to move and dance. I always feel like I'm bigger than life because people have all eyes on you. They're watching everything, all your lines, everything. So that was amazing to be able to still do that. So I'm gonna keep dancing. I don't care how old I am, but I do have to shout out Miss Avis Hatcher, because she allowed me to do. I see Tanisha doing it. If anybody did Children's Circus, they remember, and Avis did not play. 5, 6, 7, 8, man, you should have been ready. So that was something I will forever remember. So
Avis taught at the high school I went to. So I went part-time at Middletown High and part-time at the academy. So both at Oddfellows, but also at in high school. She, like you said, she didn't play. And having those kind of totems in your life, those people who are like, you are everything, but also get your shit together. You're like, yes, Miss Avis. Thank you.
I'll jump in. Somebody asked where Avis is. She is down, I believe, in North Carolina. She teaches, I want to say maybe Fayetteville. There's this college down there, but I'll find out for sure. So she's still 5, 6, 7, 8 in everybody. So she's still teaching dance.
Okay, I'll pop in. I want to first give props for Mr. Wheeler's perfect afro in that picture. I can't get enough of it. It's awesome. But first, I forgot that I live in LA. I'm acting and modeling, and I'm doing stand-up. My passion, I guess my mom got me into it just because I was so weird and funny and like just energetic. And she was like, I got to put this somewhere. If I'm not playing football, I was doing plays and chorus, and Oddfellows plays, Middletown High plays, and just like anything. And I just wanted to I'm a fan of everybody, like in any job or profession, any way, shape, or form. I just love people. And I love everybody most of the time. And I think that what inspires me is everything. Really, I find inspiration in the sun in the morning, waking up and just like taking that first yawn and getting up and just, I can't really explain it, but I think performing for me is kind of like spraying everybody with like this energetic love juice that like maybe make your day a little bit better, or maybe, give a little bit more confidence in what you're trying to do. Because I kind of took like whatever attention I had on me as a kid and tried to just make things better all around me. That's what I wanted to do. So that's kind of like what I want to do out here. And that's where I'm going, I feel. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think we got time for one more before we go into another question. Does anyone else want to share? Is that you, Derek? Did you?
Yeah. For me, I was pretty much inspired at a young age. So I was inspired more or less by just I was always big into creating something from nothing. And when I say creating something from nothing, like from like music, I love the fact that, whatever verse or song or everything I write, it starts from one word. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that word be. And I used to just love the ending point of after the studio session is over and the song is done, And it brings it back to the children's book. When you sit down, any writer, any director, anybody that does any writing, it has to start with one word. You know what I'm saying? Or one sentence or one phrase. And I just love to see the magic that happens once you run with that one word, that one sentence. You know what I'm saying? And even with like I've been into music just as long as I've been into the acting, and but with the music, I was just more on the recording side, just vocalist, just writing and recording. And maybe about 6 years ago, I had a friend that used to come by all the time. He used to do music too with me. He used to always be like, "Hey man, I got Fruity Loops and I know how to make beats too and produce and da da da." He used to always ask me, and I used to always just shrug him off like, nah. And to be honest, I was sort of intimidated on the recording side because being in the studio so many times, you see the big board, you see all that stuff. I was just like, you know what, that looks like mad complicated. I'm gonna just stick, just the rapping part or whatever, the writing. But it ended up being something that I ended up falling in love with too, because one day I finally said, you know what, yeah, just show me. And from that day, he showed me, man. He came to my house every day for like 4 months straight, just showing me producing. And I fell in love with it just as much as I fell in love with the acting and the writing music, because I realized it's the same thing. You start a beat with one sound. You know what I'm saying? And that one sound, and then you turn that one, man. It's like, I always look at it, like I said, putting pieces of a puzzle together. You know what I'm saying? You find each piece, you find each sound, and man, then the finished product is what I'm always inspired by. Sometimes I just got to sit back and look and like, man, I really completed it. Because I listen to a lot of every morning I listen to a lot of the motivation by like Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins. I listen to like a mixture, like a mixed audio that has everyone speaking from Will Smith, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, and I get a lot of my thoughts and a lot of things I think come off the bat. Just listening to that every morning, giving myself a fresh start, and listening to a lot of positive affirmations and positive things and tips to do. And it got me now to where that's why, like I said, I'm the movie now. It's like I'm waiting to see that complete. I'm starting my own screenplay, writing my first screenplay, and it's just the excitement of just knowing when it's going to be done. Just the excitement of being able to post and say, "Hey, Oddfellows, the movie's done. I want to do a casting." I just can't wait to get to that point. You know what I mean? Just to give back. Just to give back to what got me where I'm at. Because like I said, I moved to Georgia basically because of what the two women were saying about the blackness and things like that. I moved to Georgia originally because of music, because of the outlets in Connecticut at the time, which I moved here 20 years ago. They weren't like they were now for musicians. I definitely don't think, and Georgia was different. And that's the reason why I love Georgia too, because you see so much Black success, I mean, you see other races success too, but for me, that was very important to me. You know what I mean? Like I can remember going to the dentist the first time down here, and it wasn't like in a rundown community. It was like in a very well-to place, very well-to. And when I walked in, I was floored to see every dentist was Black. I'm coming fresh from Connecticut, so I just was not expecting that, or, and I just felt like, yeah, I'm in the right place. And that's the same way I felt from the first day I went on set. I answered an ad on Craigslist maybe 6 years ago. It was just an ad on Craigslist, something that simple. They called me back a couple of days later. I'm on MacGyver. And that was the first time I started acting since Oddfellows moving to Georgia. And I remember when I first walked on set, when I first seen the cameras, I'm like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I'm just truly inspired by just creating things, whether it be poetry. I love when people create things. I love seeing nice art. I love seeing something that's created from someone's hand or mind. You know what I'm saying? And the finished product of things like that. And that inspires me. Want to execute and finish. And that's about it. I just wanted to answer the question also.
Hey Derek, I got a story. I was on can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I met Eddie Murphy as well, and I was in awe. And when you do background, sometimes the AD or whatever can just be like, I just want you to do this, and then you're like, oh, you want me to enter from over here and do this? So I did that, and Eddie was supposed to say, who the fuck are you coming in all fucking late, motherfucker? I'm doing my goddamn thing. And he never said it. We did like 3 times, and I'm like, am I fucking up? Is it me? And I'm just like, I'm nervous, and he's right there. He's right in front of me. And I almost had a scene with Eddie. And it was like, after that, I'm like, so I go to the bathroom in the porta potty, which is like kind of high up. He comes out by himself from like the curtain to the right. I'm getting out of the porta potty, and I'm like, I scurry away. I ran away. I'm not meeting Eddie Murphy after going to the bathroom. It's not going to happen. I'm not doing it. And I was like, that was my shot. Right. We went back inside and then just like, we just did it. But there was something about, you know, in that Dolomite movie, there was something about like all black people, like everybody there was black, makeup artists, yeah, costume designer, same costume designer designed the Black Panther, Ruth. Yeah. And she's dressing me and I'm like, does it look good? And she dressed me in like 5 different outfits. And there was something about like having everybody be black and melanated and people of color. And there was everybody, like there was other colors there too, but there was something else. I've been in another sense. There was something about it. And it was just like, I feel good here. Because there's been other sets where it's like, you get your makeup on, get out of here, you know? But that's my story.
Word, okay.
Yeah,
I really like seeing Snipes, man. I like seeing Wesley. I like seeing Wesley Snipes just stay in character. Every time they said cut, he would stay in character, and I was just so bugged out.
Right? Yo, check it. Okay. So after we did that, Wesley Snipes, we were like, it's lunchtime. Wesley's walking around with a plate. He didn't know where to go, and I'm like looking at him like, I want to talk to him, but he's got this plate of food. And he's looking where to sit. There was nowhere to sit, and I was like, I gotta. And he kind of gave me a head nod, and I was like, good. He's just kind of like get flustered because these dudes. I mean, Eddie Murphy. That's my inspiration. Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes. Come on.
Yeah. Definitely.
That was inspiring.
I think it's just knowing their body of work, you know, well, especially Eddie Murphy as far as his writing and everything, you know.
Right.
And just being inspired by that.
You know, it was a time where I just turned around and stared at him. And he's getting his makeup on. I just turned around and stared at him for about 5 seconds. And he looked right at me and was just like he didn't really give me anything. He was trying to channel Rudy Ray Moore. He was trying to channel him. But I just had to let him know that, like, you know, something. And he's on stage doing his thing. And he gave us like these fake, they gave us these, you know, it's the 70s. So they gave us like fake cigarettes. And, you know, during like, you know, resetting everything, I was like, I'm going to take these cigarettes and like make sure Eddie sees me flick it up and catch it in my mouth. I do that sometimes. And he saw me and I was like, he's going to remember me forever. Good shit.
Right.
Hopefully he did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing those stories. I love to hear that. I'm moving to Georgia very soon, so I'm excited to have that experience.
Definitely contact me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh yeah, some people didn't know that. That's like a a drop real quick. Like, sorry, yeah. For those who know. Okay, yeah, moving right along. I just love everything about this. Oh, I'm getting a call. My niece calls me every day on Facebook. So that was what that was. Sorry, y'all. All right, so moving right along, I'm so excited, so happy to have y'all in this space once again. I'm loving how the conversation just flowing, just going. If there is someone who did like feel urgently that they wanted to answer that last question, you could definitely pop in. If not, I'm gonna pop in the new questions. Okay, cool. So for those watching on Facebook, I have just given the group chat about 5 questions. You are open to answer 2 of them if you want. I'm going to say them out loud. The first question is, what is a problem or a situation that you have faced as a Black performer, as a Black creative, and has it happened more than once? And for those of you, it doesn't have to be, you know, you in the performance space. It could just be you if you want to share as a Black person, your Black experience. 2, what are some things that would be easily accessible to you if your skin was a different shade? I know that answer could probably go long because there's a lot we can say. 3, at what moments are you reminded of your race? If it's something that happens in a moment, or if you just walk around with it every day, which usually we do as Black people, but feel free to answer that how you want. 4, please share a moment when you were singled out for being Black and how it made you feel. Also a question up for grabs. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. And 5, this one's a little wordy, so let me know if it's clear. If you could walk around with a sign on your forehead, my forehead's kind of big, so I could definitely put a sign up here. You walk around with a sign on your forehead to say anything you wanted to the person or people who have made you feel uncomfortable as a Black artist, performer, entertainer, what would it say? All right, so again, I wrote these out in the chat so you all can reread them and reference if you want to, but also just hop in if you have an answer to any of those.
I got an answer.
Yeah.
So I'll say that for the question that was about, let me hop into the chat real quick. Sorry about this. For the question that was about sharing a moment where I was singled out for being Black and how it made me feel. Not a singling out per se, but more of a circumstance. So as we all know, Black people aren't always the first to be cast for anything unless it is a Black project. So because of the way everything works, the default is to go to something white, something that is easily marketable to the masses because they're still listening to whatever. And it isn't, and every now and then you get that uproar of like, you know, for instance, the Golden Globes, like there's nobody Black on the board. There's not enough Black actors doing this or whatever. So you get that swoop of we're gonna take in Black is it. Like someone said previously before, Black is hot right now. So for instance, I've got friends or people that I know who are, you know, try to get picked up by agents and things like that. But they're told by the agent, you're great, but we don't need anybody like you, a tall, pretty white girl, because they're filling out the boards right now with Black people so they don't look bad. So it becomes a thing where you're the flavor of the moment, which doesn't necessarily really help anybody because it's only for that one moment until everything quiets down and then it goes back. So it's not like it's an ongoing inclusion. It's just it's like a little Band-Aid, it's a little pop. I heard that conversation about not being able to be cast. And then also when I was in college, the people being accepted into the BFA program were always white. And then the argument got so loud that they weren't taking any Black students into the program that everybody who got cast that year was Black. And they only took in like 9 students. They were 8 of them were Black. And that was it. And then after that, it went back to the same type of like acceptance. So you get that. Also, I would say in that question about what could I get if my skin color was different, I wouldn't change it and keep it this way, but I would say that the access to the privilege that I get, whether it be through people that I meet through my jobs and being, you know, going back to your original question about acting and the character that you always have to put on, knowing that gets you into certain places, like either you're fun to be around because, as you know, networking is such a lot to do if you're going to go off into that Hollywood route. A lot of cases happen where it's like, if I was white, I would be listened to first. I wouldn't have to get as loud. I wouldn't have to be as forward with things. Making connections for people would be a little bit easier because that's what I like to do. Might not be acting right now, but if I happen to know somebody, you know, I'm going to try to bring them up. I'm going to try to help them out. They're not always going to listen to you, but if those words, I've seen those words come out of somebody else's mouth, then all of a sudden now there's more weight, more validity to it. So I'll leave it right there. I'll just say that there's a lot when you're really getting into it. There's like acting and creating, but if you want to move into that big cog, that big machine that is Hollywood, there's a whole different set of politics and networking and playing that comes with it.
Thank you for that, Fleur. I heard everything you said, and being a part of that world. Ooh, got a Charlie horse in my leg. Sorry. Woo! I did not
Flex your foot. Flex your foot and hold it. Flex your foot. Pull your toe back towards you.
Okay, I'm flexing.
Okay.
That
And have a sip of water.
no joke, girl. I hear you.
Oh my God.
Have a sip of water. If you have a sip of water, it'll fix it.
Okay. See, we were meant to go back to back, right? She's like, I got you. Do this. That was weird. So thank you, Fleur. So being a part of the entertainment business in that way for so long, 20 years in New York City, going to casting directors. First of all, never once saw one Black casting director. 20 years, not one for commercials, for any of the big casting houses. And so you're always reminded of that when you show up. So yeah, it's, I think for me, one of the problems I would come up against, and still do, it's not a unique problem, it's all of our problem, that you would only be considered for things that are Black. And then you get there and you're like, okay, I'm not Black enough. Apparently, look at everybody else in this everybody else in this room doesn't look like me. Not Black enough. And so it just irritated me after a while. After 20 years of doing it, I'm actually right now at this very moment even considering why I do it. And the whole notion of entertaining is starting to become it's getting a little sour for me when it comes to commercials and films and television. And like you were saying, Fleur, this whole thing with like, we're it now, we're hot now. It's like, no, I have a problem with diversity and inclusion in the first place, because diverse from what? Including into who, right? It all is, we're being absorbed into the whiteness. We are being included into whiteness. We are diverse from whiteness. And so it's kind of hard when you're a born performer and you realize that this entertainment business, it's not really, first of all, it's terrible for your ego, but also it's not, it doesn't feel like it's for us. It doesn't feel like it's for us. It hasn't always felt like it's for me. And one of the things about Oddfellows that was just brilliant was that never once did I feel like I had to, or I never felt like I didn't belong. I never felt like I had to be Black for something. I never had to feel like I had to be unblack. I didn't have to de-Black for anything. We were just acting. We were all actors. But when you go to New York, that's not how it works out all the time, which is why I love what Jordan Peele's doing with us. It's like, wow, it's a movie. It's not about being Black. Don't y'all get sick of watching things about being Black? So the movie, we're Black people in the movie, but it's about being Black. Why can't we just have a movie? Why can't we just have a story? We have so many of the stories. Can we stop having to be Black, like the stories about being Black? So anyway, when you see a horror movie and we're all Black, I'm like, this is dope. So anyway, so again, I'm talking like commercial, television, film. The problem has always been like, oh, but we're not casting for you. Never have I been considered for a role that wasn't supposed to be Black, ever. So that's the big problem. And I'm gonna be quiet because I know y'all have stuff to say.
I'm gonna hop in because you brought in a lot of things that are like perfect cookout conversations, right? So there's like the colorism piece, which is just very real. I think it's really important that while we are focused on the creative sector, all of the things that you're talking about engaging with behind the table is very real in corporate life. There's not a Black person working in a regular job that is also not like, why do they want me to only act one way? And I always love, because we don't like to say it, right? So it's like, well, I know how to act. I know how to act has a ... after that, which means I know how to act white, right? I know how to act in the normative way, and normative has been defined as exclusive of me, right? So I think it's really important that our conversation lifts out of just our sector, and also reminding ourselves that like what we do as culture creators is to move the culture, right? So we are in this moment where Black people are hot. You have an opportunity to continue pillars of white supremacy and go towards individualism and be like, I'm gonna grab up all of this thing I can get right now because the time is right for me to grab up this thing. Or you go, how do I create a more abundant, expansive world around this thing that I do that doesn't ask the person behind me to do the thing that, or have to face the question that I'm being faced right now. Because the question we're being faced right now is, do you continue through individualism? It is one of the things, as a person who grew up Black and middle class, and firmly Black and middle class for 2 generations, right? Like, we are taught to just maintain our Black middle classness and try to continue to rise up within the classes. And that process removes a certain amount of Blackness. I put in the chat here, which our Facebook friends can't see. You know, Azaria talked about going to an HBCU. When my parents are Howard grads. When my parents took me down to look at Howard, and my father was like, you were going here. This is legacy, right? My grandmother went there. That's, you know, I won't go down the historical path there, but my grandmother wrote most of what is Brown versus Board of Education, right? That opportunity came through the fact that she was at Howard. When I went to Howard, having lived in the suburbs of Middletown, I was like, oh no, that is not what I'm doing, right? I wanted to go to a PWI, right? I wanted to be around white people because I believed, having been one of a few chocolate chips in my space in Middletown, that was what excellence looked like, right? So we are in the midst of asking real questions, right? About how we want to create the world in front of us. And we can completely continue to talk about the way the world is now, but I put in the chat, which also people on Facebook can't see. I work with Erica Jensen, who was just named the principal of Kalari Jensen. And I'm sorry, Paul, I can't remember your last name, but it was important to me when I cast that I cast with a Black casting director. When all of this stuff went down with We See You, and it was like, who's the Black casting? And people would be like, I've never worked with one before. I've never worked with one. It's like, well, because you didn't look. I've been working with Erica for 3 years. Interestingly enough, Erica was one of the primary casting directors at Long Wharf for a very long time. One of the things that Long Wharf did right, previous to their old, to their new leader. So I think it's really important that, like, we begin to start to face the hard questions about being Black in America and how we want to do this thing, and whether or not continuing to sort of embrace whiteness, which I think is really hard for educated Black people to, like, even admit, right? You're like, you know, I was one of those too. Like, I don't talk white, I talk like me. But now at 39, looking around at the world, I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. I was taught that to talk more like people that don't look like me made me more accessible, made me more accessible, not to just other people, but to wealth, to power. I think of the prophet Cardi B, who on occasion will say something that really surprises the hell out of me. And I'll be like, no, she's not smart. And then I go, wait, hold on. That's me. That is my bias. That's my anti-Blackness, having nothing to do with the shade of Black she is, but the way in which she shares herself with the world. And my response is, that can't be educated. That can't be intelligent. That can't be prosperous. But I'm wrong. The prophet Cardi B sometimes says some amazing thing about taxes, about progressive tax rates, about how we participate in voting, about how to live. She says some crazy stuff too. But, like, beginning to sort of separate myself between excellence and what it looks like and meant to be, and wrapping a new truth around that is really, really important. I'll stop there because, Anitra, you know, I could go down so many roads with what you opened up, all the doors you opened up and what you said.
Look, thank you so much, Tanisha.
To throw in what Tanisha said last sentence, a lot of things that I was asked was, when I was looking around for high schools to go to, was, do you play basketball? And I was like, and I said, no, I don't play basketball. I'm a musician. Oh, so you rap? And then it's like, you're just digging the rabbit hole. So when I went to Greater Hartford Academy of the Arts, where I go to now, And I was expecting someone, oh, you're going to be in the music department. Oh, why'd you come here? I thought you played basketball. And they said, what department are you in? I was like, it kind of threw me off guard. I was like, how do I answer this? I was like, oh, I'm in theater. But at the same time, it was the first time where I wasn't asked, do I play a sport? Or, okay, you play music, but do you rap? And like, when you find out I play the blues, you have the shock in your face. Oh, you're good. But it's not the same feeling that you get from it. And I tried playing basketball. I can't dance. I tried playing basketball and it didn't work out well, but I realized the best way to be accepted as a Black performer is by other artists. Because at Greater Hartford, one of my teachers said, art has no age or color. It's just by multiple people. And seeing other people embrace that idea and actually listen to what you're doing, it's like, wow. And yeah, that's my question.
See, I agree, man, because I don't like to feel boxed in. Like, I don't want to be in this black box where I got to be able to dance. I got to play basketball. And if somebody near me says the N word, they don't know if I'm, out here when I first moved out here, it was like ethnically ambiguous was the term. And then now it's like black again, because out here, it's like they don't know what I am. And I don't want to be put in that box. But it got to the point where people were saying things around me to test the amount of, I'm in a meeting, they were saying things about being Black around me, but like saying as a test. Like, if I say this, is he gonna turn around and say something? Is he gonna talk to me? Is he gonna get mad at me? And that I don't like that, because that takes away from your individuality. Like, you can listen to anything you want, be anything you want, and they still will come for you because you're a rarity. If you're not doing these traditional Black things, you're weird to them. And even other Black people too are like that. Well, how come you don't do this? How come you don't do that? And I'm like, whatever. Like, I remember I was doing some stand-up at the Comedy Store. Walking in there, not a lot of Black people, because they have separate nights. They got chocolate Sundays, they got Black night, and I'm like, I'm going in there in different nights, and I don't change my act for anything. A lot of it's like witty jokes, it's weird stuff, it's physical comedy. I'm not doing certain Black jokes or white jokes. I'm doing all these things jokes. And I'm saying stuff, but I just auditioned for, not just auditioned, but one night in Miami, Regina King's One Night in Miami that's coming out. I auditioned to play Sam Cooke, and I'm seeing all these brothers in there, and I'm like, I know I'm not gonna get this shit. One, because my hair is not that kinky, but that's just like my thing. Like, I'm thinking that, like, there's no way they're gonna cast me for this. And that was the only audition that I was not nervous, because I prepared so well, and I did a good job. And I didn't get it because there's this thing of like, what am I gonna wear, a pinky wig the whole time, or are you gonna put spirit gum on me? And you're gonna be like so different to people anyway, because I can already tell from listening to you and all you young Padawans, it's always gonna be a tiny bit of a struggle, but as soon as you can see it coming, you see the obstacle, you jump right over it. And then they're like, oh, he didn't even trip. You didn't even trip over this obstacle, because they will try to poke your bones, try to see where you're at in your mind. How can they mess with you? They do it all the time. And I look at them like, you're paying so much attention to me about my race or my Blackness, or if somebody that's not Black tries to rate your Blackness, it's very annoying, especially out here where you go to certain areas. Coming from Middletown, and Oddfellows gave me the confidence of being like, all right, I'm an actor, but I'm not just an actor. Plus, the Oddfellows would teach you these skills that, like, they don't have out here. They don't have these things like these community theaters that are so diverse. Like, Middletown is kind of diverse, and I feel very special out here from everybody out here, because there's certain skills that I got from Oddfellows Children's Circus and Oddfellows the plays that they just don't have out here. There's no heart out here. It's like, oh, I want to be big and famous, but there's no heart. So as soon as you still got the heart, they can't mess with you, man. Definitely.
Andre, you have more nuance than most casting directors and producers, because ain't nobody thinking about your kinky hair. They think about, will he bring in the eyeballs? And I love Chadwick Boseman. I love Chadwick Boseman. Shout out to that ancestor. But he even said when he was cast as Thurgood, he was like, I shouldn't be playing Thurgood, right? Because part of that story, I believe that the specific leads to universal, right? So like part of Thurgood's story is that he's a light-skinned nigga. Like, that is his truth. I know some people don't love that word, so I apologize to anybody who's offended by that word. I have all words, all of them. Not a single one do I not like. But that story of Thurgood's real life story is entrenched in his likeness, right? That like his ability to ascend the way he did is specific, right? And so I appreciate that you, Andre, even in like going into your audition, was like, why am I here? But casting and producers, they don't think about that yet, right? We keep pushing.
Yeah. You still
I
so
feel
smart.
like, so, jumping back, I feel like Hollywood's different when you think about acting because you're not an actor first, you're a product. You're immediately stripped of everything, all your personality, anything that makes you different or unique. You become a like two-dimensional thing if you're trying to quote unquote make it in the big machine. And that's where it starts. Like the acting is like almost like a reward if you pass all these tests getting up through. Like once they decide like, okay, well, this little plastic cube is going to fit into this. And then if you make it all the way through and you fit into the Lego set, then, and you act, that's your reward. Now you get to create. But like trying to shoot a movie, like trying to get into that Marvel stuff, like, yeah, I would love to do that, but it's not going to happen. You have to fit a large number of circumstances. And it's like being in pageants. You get like 5 seconds to make an impression, see if maybe like the 3 people sitting at the desk feel like they like you. But if you know what their eggs gave him gas that morning, your whole chance could be blown. So everything becomes circumstantial. So like, it's weird. Like if you really want to act, nothing's going to stop you. It doesn't matter what format you're doing it on. You could be recording you could be recording online, you could be doing anything as long as you don't lose that within yourself. But you can't take anything personal. Can't take nothing personal. Can't take it. You can't, because that's what's going to destroy you and mess you up and suck out and eat all that little bits that makes you want to get up on stage and express yourself.
All right, so we're at 6:19. I know we are going to be wrapping up at 6:30. This conversation has been so wonderful, so juicy. I'm enjoying this cookout so much. Thank you all for coming. I want to pose a very...
Who made the potato salad?
Who made the potato salad?
Question.
My auntie made it. Auntie Ebby made it. I got some in the fridge.
And my uncle's on the grill with the good sandals, so we good.
And I'm about to start the electric slide, so just be ready.
Yes.
You know what's funny? This is like everyone's family because it sounds just like mine.
Exactly. Oh, thank y'all.
This is the story Anitra once told, right? She's like, can we just be at the cookout? Which is like essentially Black, but you don't have to talk about us being Black. But it will be an essentially Black experience because, you know, the cookout is us.
It's
wholly us.
Totally us. I'm loving everything about this. So with that said, I want you all to share with us, share with the people, share with yourselves. What is one piece of advice that you would share with your younger self as well as your older self? So, you know, a lot of things that came up during this conversation are things that we found out and learned through trial and error, or actually being in it. We learned this through experience. So what's something that you would love to say to your younger self in preparation for what's to come, but also what would you want to remind your older self about of who you are now?
Look, Jackie, those are two different things.
Right? I know they're two different things. Pick one if you want, pick both.
I have to raise my hand first because I'm going through this right now. I don't regret anything in my life. I do, however, wish so badly that every single time a white person has belittled me under the guise of a compliment, I wish I had the ammunition. I wish I had the intelligence, ready to go, comeback, the calm every single time. It's happened so much over and over again. And I'm 45 and I'm still not already, I still don't feel like I have my guns ready all the time because people be throwing me off guard, asking me crazy shit. I'm like, what? Did you just say that out loud? People still do that. Yeah. And I want to tell my younger self though, because I feel like if I had started 25, 30 years ago, then I wouldn't be so like, you know, shocked every time it happens. I want to tell that young girl that you may not You may not accept any kind of verbal abuse, as it's insidious from anyone. And when you see it, call it out, because now I know it wouldn't have made me any less. It wouldn't have made me any less popular. It wouldn't have made me a worse actor. It would have made me better to say, well, I'll take out the words I really want to say, but when the person in college says, "Are your parents professors? Because you're so well spoken." I would have wanted to have something to say. And those things, when they creep up on you for the rest of your life, and they still happen now as a grown person, the ammunition and to just be just so confident to call people out and say, you know, what you're doing, you know, you're wrong. You're wrong. And you need to roll back what you just said. Let's start this conversation over again. What are you talking about? So anyway, that's to my younger self. That's the one thing I wish I did. Stand up to white supremacy. I didn't recognize it when I was younger, but now I do.
You know, Anitra, that story reminds me of when I was in college and I had a professor say, of course you can sing, you're Black, right? And I was just like, all right, I don't know. I just got to take a moment. I had to leave the room because I didn't know what to say, but I was upset that I didn't know what to say.
They'd be waylaying you.
I wish I had something to say. All right, we got a hand raised by Diamond.
For my younger self, I would tell my younger self that I am my only issue, that I'm my only problem as to why I won't be able to succeed in life. Do not hold yourself back. Do not be afraid to do the things that you know that you are destined and prone to do. My older self, I would tell my older self, as I tell myself now, keep going. Keep going. It's not over, and it won't be over until you've succeeded. You are destined to have what you are supposed to have. Keep going.
Yes. Yes, Diamond. I love that. We got another hand, Felicia. Oh, and then Azaria after.
Okay, so my younger self did hear this before. And this was something actually that Avis, I gotta call Avis, but she keeps coming up in these conversations. But she always said if we were dancing and we happened to look down, down will be there. Now, my younger self was like, oh shoot, I need to stop looking down at the ground. I need to look up as I perform. But now as I'm 40, about to be 41 next month, she really wanted us to let everybody see you. It wasn't just don't look down, because down will be there. And if you fall, something's going to catch you, meaning not just the floor, but the community, the people that love me and surround me and want to see me be successful. So that don't look down meant look up. You are this beautiful beacon of Black excellence. If you don't just go on and shine, shine, shine at what you're doing, let people see who you are. Stand up, stand out, and be proud. So that younger self, yes. This grown self, yes. To my students, I tell them that. To my own children, I tell them that stand up, stand proud, because down will always be there. So
I would have told my younger self that one, to get a head start in the arts, because I mean, I love it, but also just in general, I mean, I've always been aware of racism. I've always known that people aren't always going to be nice to you because you're darker, but I definitely would have told further educated myself on that and just told myself, hey, I promise you, you are not going to be treated like the rest of your friends because you're darker. And unfortunately, not everybody is going to accept you for that. So I would have definitely told myself that just to know, and like somebody said, I forgot who it was, but I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just to be more aware and just to know, and yeah, just be proud of your Blackness. And to my future self, I would just say, keep going. You've got this. That's pretty much what I'll say.
Thank you, Trent. Been waiting for you to talk at the cookout. Been waiting to hear from you at the cookout, Trent. Azaria.
Yes, I would definitely tell my younger self that if I thought my faith was tested, to get ready. Like, get ready for this ride. And don't give up. And to my older self, I would say, you held on, but it doesn't stop here. You got to keep going. And just to continue to make sure that I hold on my faith and to just not give up no matter what, and to always remember where I came from, because I did come from the South. I moved here straight out of college. And if I can move somewhere that gets below temperature, like, you can definitely go anywhere. So I definitely tell myself that.
One thing I can tell my younger self is be a little less arrogant. I mean, I don't know where it came from, but it was there. I mean, it got me pretty far because, I mean, yeah. And I mean, it worked out in the long run. But the thing I can tell my older self is put the self-worth over your opportunity. Because sometimes it's okay to walk out on money, because if you know you've been offered that time, you'll be offered it again. So self-worth over opportunity, and maybe a little more arrogance, because by time then I'll probably lose some. And yeah, thank you.
I'd say,
I'll go.
oh, sorry, you go.
I would say, just to piggyback, say off of what you said, is like arrogance and confidence is almost intertwinable. It's not the same. You've got to be confident. But I would tell my younger self, pay attention a little bit more. There's so much going on, and I was like, I'm bouncing over here. I'm funny. People are getting a kick out of me. I didn't pay attention to things. I was like, people reacting to me in a positive way. I was like, more. I'll do this. I'll do that. I didn't pay attention enough. And then at my older self, I would say, slow down and go with the ride. I was going way too fast, and I was getting mad at things that I had no control over. And I was getting angry, which can help you as an artist sometimes to take that and be able to touch that and then turn it off if you want. But it can get you inside if there's no reason for it. So I would say that.
I'd say stay yourself no matter what. That's what I tell my younger self. Just stay yourself no matter what, because not being present, you're wasting time, and you could be enjoying life and not carrying so much extra baggage. And also, the same advice that I would give my older self is still the same advice I give my younger, older, interchangeable, is stop wasting the time. If you want to do it, just start. Don't wait for something else. I got an anxiety issue and perfectionism issue where I'm like, things have to be perfect before I start in order to do it. Nah, none of that means anything. It means nothing. So seriously, younger, just be comfortable. Be comfortable in yourself. When you're comfortable with yourself, and that's what I have to say being 40 is great for, you are carrying such less baggage. You are waking up feeling so much better. That sunshine talk, feeling that the man was going on about, it just naturally happens, and you can just get stuff done. And it also keeps you from blocking your creative impulses. So just be yourself no matter what.
I got a whole word. Thank you for sharing that. You was talking to me right there. I took all that for myself. Oh my God, I gotta do that. Derek, your mic is off. So you want to say something?
Yes. For me, what I would say to my younger self is probably getting out of my own way. I mean, there's so much that when I was younger that I would do, I think that would block my blessings. I mean, looking back now, you know what I'm saying? And just seeing them when they are, and appreciating them, and being grateful. And another thing, when I was younger, I didn't take a lot of chances on certain things. I was so insecure because of my skin complexion. Maybe from first, second, third grade, maybe to like eighth, ninth grade, you know, I just really teased for being dark, you know, and to be honest, it affected me in so many ways because I didn't go try out for sports, you know. I would play basketball every day at home, but I didn't go try out at school. I didn't try out for football. I didn't try out for anything, just for the simple fact of being not wanting to be teased for being dark. Especially now being older, I look back on it like, of course, it was stupid. But when I was younger, you know, it would hurt me a lot. You know what I'm saying? To the point to where, you know, I remember the one time that my mom actually seen something was wrong with me. I came home from school one day. I think I was going to Wilson at the time, and my mom was like, "Derek, what's wrong?" And I was just like, you know, they call me car baby, whatever it was that they called me. He had it bad in the 80s, trust me, dark. But I can remember her sitting me down and telling me, like, you know, your skin is beautiful, you're beautiful, don't you ever, you know, let no one make you feel whatever it does. From that day on, you know, I began to, you know, come into myself and not feel as insecure and as ashamed of being dark, you know. So basically what I would tell my younger self now is, you know, don't let things like that stop from moving forward. I let it stop from even trying certain things. You know what I mean? And those are like regrets that I have in my life as an older person, like never giving myself a chance to do sports, things like that. Because I was, like I said, I was afraid I was going to get these things. And then another important thing, I mean, this is off of that my mom always told me too, going out to here into this acting world and to the world in general. My mom had, you know, I got 10 brothers and sisters. I have 6 brothers. She always tell us the system is designed for you to fail. So go out there knowing that. If you go out there knowing that it's designed for you to fail, you got to do everything in your power to navigate failing. You know, and I feel that's what I did. And I think, you know, moving to Georgia definitely changed my life because there was a time when I lived in Middletown where I wasn't doing good, you know, wasn't doing the best thing. I wasn't being the best version of myself. And moving to Georgia definitely changed that, you know, brought the real me back out. But yeah, and I would tell my older self, it's something that I listened to a lot when I listened to a lot of the motivational audio, was discipline and consistency it'll take you where you need to go. You know, whatever it may be, that discipline and consistency is like 2 of the main important things, and that's what I'm trying to apply and keep going in my life. You know, having the discipline to write when I don't want to write, having the discipline to go mess with music when I don't want to mess with music. You know what I'm saying? Having the consistency to keep doing it when I don't want to do it, because I know at the end of the day, you know, hard work pays. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what I would say to my older self too. But other than that, that's it.
Thank you for sharing. I'm gonna hop in real quick and I'm gonna pass it to Tanisha, and then if someone else has something to say, we could do that too. I don't want to cut us off because, you know, cookout. we at the cookout and at church, the goodbyes take so long.
As long as the sermon.
It takes so long. You say goodbye like 4 different times. You're like, all right, I'm gonna let you go. And then we talk about something else. They're like, all right, I'm gonna go.
If I can find that meme that goes through like all 4 of the goodbyes, I'll drop it in the Facebook chat because it is classic and so good.
Yes, please.
I wanted to answer this one real quick because arrogance and confidence came up, and that really spoke to my spirit. And to my younger self, I would say, always hold your center as a kind person, and don't let other people telling you that your confidence is arrogance stop you from your greatness. Because understanding that, I understand that now, right? Because I get why, right? It's about attempting to make me smaller. It's about asking me to question how vast and how big and how abundant I can be. And so to my younger self, be as big and as bold and as wide as your imagination and your spirit can take you. And be mindful of the fact that there will be others who will try to make you small in that, and that as long as you are kind, as long as your intent and your impact align so that you are not harming others, let that story be other people's story of you. That's what I would tell my younger self. And to my older self, thank you, universe, ancestors, for giving me more time, because that's the assumption there, right? To continue to be abundant and full, and to press us, right, for the kind of life we want to leave behind. And that may mean not having the life I want to have today, but to keep my yardstick is, what do I want to leave behind for those two little boys y'all saw walking around, and those grandchildren that they will bear me. Like, I will be a soldier to this moment, which means I have to sacrifice, which I don't want to do, but I will, because I don't want 3 generations from now to folks to look back and be like, what, Reconstruction happened? We doing this again? Civil rights movement happened. We doing this again? The 80s happened. Are we doing this again? I don't want to continue that story for us. And so for my older self, keep marching in the fight, even when you want to come back and sort of take all the things that you've been given. Keep on marching in the fight.
Wow, that was girl. I mean, if I don't know if you written a book yet, but when you write it, please let me know and sign it for me, please, because I want it.
I just want Flor to claim her magnificence. That body and that face needs to be in the Marvel universe, and I will not let her speak the universe out of the gift that she is meant to have. Like, you know, we won't do that for ourselves.
Yes. Here for speaking into each other, speaking into ourselves. I want to answer that question too. To my younger self, I would say, don't worry if they're proud of you. One, ask yourself, are you proud of you? And I think that would just, because, you know, at this point now, I just have to always check in with myself today about, you know, it doesn't matter if I got recognition for that. It matters if I enjoyed it, if it filled my spirit. And for my older self, I would say, I don't know. I just see myself on a beach somewhere hot, like toes in the sand. Like, I would just say, girl, you did that. Like, I would say that to my older self, like, just give her props on the work that she did. I feel you, Tanisha, on saying being a soldier right now. I really feel that right now for the coming generations after me. So I would just send my congratulations to my older self. Do we have anyone else who wants to share? I don't want to cut any of y'all off.
Andre, I see your mom in the comments, and she wants you to share more of the things that you've done. So I want to, like, as you talk to your younger self and look to your older self, maybe you could give, you know, a little bit of shine to your magnificence.
I haven't even been looking at the Facebook.
Everybody, we got to do this again. Thank you, Tanisha. We're also at Magnificent. I feel totally different after talking to you guys. Sometimes I feel so disconnected, especially because of COVID, and I feel good. I feel better after this. Hopefully everybody else does.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess as a kid, I don't know what to say. I just kept going. I did stuff in New York. I just did everything, and I just didn't stop. You know what it was too, is that I had to find myself, because I identified myself as a performer at such a young age that when there was no performance, I was like, who am I? I'm a football player and I play outside, but what else? So I had to find myself after not being a performer and go down in the trenches. And LA has been not good that much. And it's been great the last couple of years of, like, just being able to get into the room and at least have to get up at bat is a blessing in itself. Just to have the shot, I feel, find out where you belong. And I don't even think, like, having success out here is even being seen. Like, I would love to be successful being a mask on a TV show or playing some monster. You don't even know it's me. That's more comfortable for me, actually, than seeing my face, to be honest. And I'm just always going to be a performer. I don't even know what I would do after this. But I think we should all do this again, maybe once a month.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this so much.
Great idea. Great.
All right. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jackie. Thank you so much. Thank you for your vision.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
Everybody. Nice meeting everyone.
I was like,
Yeah,
I need
too.
something for Black. I need something. We need to do something to turn this out. And I'm so happy y'all were able to join me on this Sunday. I know there's been so many amazing people up here. If you have any events coming up, if you have anything coming up, please take this moment. We already over time, so I don't even mind it. Take this time to like either shout out that thing, plug that thing. We could just talk about yourself real quick.
Hi.
I'll go first. If I can said this. Okay, go ahead.
Like I said earlier, on Fridays I co-host a writing workshop for poetry. So we do that every Friday, 5 to 6:30. If I'm gonna drop my email in the chat in case I need to meet. And yeah.
Okay.
I want to go.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say, you go. Sorry, my bad.
Who's going?
All right,
You go.
we got
3, 2, 1, everybody.
Azaria, Andre, and Fleur.
All right, so I'll make it quick. So for those of you that don't know, on March 8th, around the world, we all celebrate International Women's Day. And so I'd love for everyone to know that I have gone ahead and created a panel discussion, like I said, called Strength Within Me, which is amplifying the women voices in our community around us. And we're celebrating International Women's Day this year, and we'll have the Strength Within Me plugged on that day. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat as well, and I'll drop it on Facebook. But you can tune in. It will be on Longhorn Theater's page. But again, this is open to everybody, and it's free. It's a 90-minute conversation that we'll have, but it's so important for us to choose the challenge, which is the theme this year. And it's choose the challenge, call out bias, stereotypes, gender inequality. So it's a lot of goodness, but I want everyone to know that hopefully my goal is for folks to walk away and feel like they can choose to challenge these issues that's going on around us. So join us if you can.
I was just in a film called Blackface, which I should have mentioned way earlier, because it is about what we're talking about different skin tones and different cultures and dialects and, different forms of everything. Nice to meet you. And it's called Blackface, and it's independent film.
I'm sorry.
Bye.
Bye.
And I think that's coming out soon. It's already out. It's being distributed in film festivals and stuff. So small part. Very
it's Blackface, said?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, called Blackface.
Okay.
I'll hop in super quick. Oh, Anisha, was your hand up to go?
Fleur was next.
I just wanted, I don't think promote, but I just wanted to shout out Trinity real quick, because when you were talking about your dark skin, maybe throwing you off a little bit, don't matter. It doesn't matter. You know what? It doesn't matter. And to my other young buck, Nayar, hey, you ain't arrogant. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. A lot of people are going to call you arrogant because they just want to shut it down, because you've got a confidence and a light that is intimidating them. So as long as you can still be open to constructive criticism and look around you and assess situations and recognize when you are wrong, it is not arrogance, it is confidence. Don't let that get shut down. So to the both of y'all young heads, don't even worry about it. It's gonna be, it might be hard right now. I don't know. You just roll it off. Don't carry that baggage with you. All right, that's it. Also, where can I watch this movie, Andre? Is it on Amazon? Is it on Netflix? Wait, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
You're still muted. Okay.
My bad. It's being distributed through film festivals right now. So it'll probably maybe get picked up. I think so, which is, what's going on right now. It'd be perfect timing, actually. Yeah. It's really good too.
Okay, we had someone else.
Yeah. I just wanted to show what someone might have been in front of me though. I don't know who was in front of me. Anyway, so I'm not acting a ton these days because for obvious reasons, but I do have an album that I would love for you to listen to, and it's called I Walk in Your Light. It's all original music. And you can get it. Well, if you get it from my website, I get all the money, but you can get it on iTunes, Bandcamp, CD Baby. You can
Go to the website, people. Go to the
Yeah.
website.
or even better, send me your address and I will mail you a copy, like an actual copy. I know people don't use these anymore, so you can download
Yes.
it or get a copy. So and if you want to just listen to it, you can go to Bandcamp. You know how to listen to it, YouTube, whatever. So that's my plug. And thank you, because I have derived so much positive energy and people say that Zoom you feel kind of like dead because of the electronic stuff, but I feel all of your magic and I feel more built up than I did an hour ago. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
What the tribe is for, right? You just got to make sure you get the tribe together, right? We can't move through this by ourselves. I'm doing so we have a project called Talking to this chick sipping magic potion over at TheaterWorks right now. It's written by James Anthony Tyler. It's a beautiful piece. That's my youngest son, Maddox. Something's wrong with our website, so I won't drop it into the chat because it's just going to annoy you. But look for us, TheaterWorks, Talking to this chick sipping magic potion. It's an all-Black cast featuring Miriam Hyman of The Shy, Sharia Irving, who is Juliet in Romeo and Juliet on Broadway. It's a beautiful cast. There's some ASL, so if you need that, we have an ASL version in addition to closed caption, but check that out. I'm really excited by that project.
Wonderful. I love that.
Only way to end. Yeah.
All right, y'all. This like the last song, or one of the last songs at the cookout. Thank y'all so much for joining me and like ending this night, ending this wonderful Black History Month with me together. One way I love to end my classes is with 3 claps. So if y'all could put your hands up for me real quick and give me 1 clap for the wonderful work that we've done. 1 clap for the wonderful work that we're doing. And 1 clap for the wonderful work to come. But it hasn't happened yet. So we're going to leave that open and just feel that energy there in the middle. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank y'all so much for coming. Let's say bye to the people watching on Facebook.
Bye.
Thank you for coming and watching.
Thank you.